Hello everyone, I hope you've had a great week so far. So in this week's episode, I'm delving into the inner work you need to do that will help you improve your accent and your speaking voice. I also hope you'll be able to apply this to other aspects of your life as well as your accent training. But before we head to section 1, a quick reminder that my British accent training course, the British Accent Bundle, is still on sale for its lowest price ever. Pause this podcast now, go to learningbritishaccent.com/bundle and sign up now. Okay, done that? Well, let's dive in. Section 1. Are you motivated enough to achieve your accent goal? Do you have what it takes to achieve your goal of speaking English with a clear RP British pronunciation? An important ingredient for success in achieving any goal is motivation. There are 3 steps to motivation, and you will need all of these 3 steps. Firstly, a compelling goal. Secondly, a path from A to B. You need to know how to get from here to there. And thirdly, a belief that your actions matter and that you can go from A to B. But what happens when these 3 aren't quite firing on all cylinders? So you're not clear on your goal. Therefore, you need to clarify the outcome you want. Be as specific as possible. Procrastination won't set in if you know what you want. So, if you don't see the path, you'll find it hard to get motivated. Part of motivation is finding a path that can get you from here to where you want to be. Part of learning and growing is finding a path, trying a path, and fixing that path. You can adjust your path as you go. The important thing is to take action. Once you start, you can regularly take stock and ask yourself if this approach is the right one to get you where you want in the time you set out. As you become more committed to your goals, you'll find alternative paths which may be more effective for your progress. Now, these paths may take you out of your comfort zone, but they could supercharge your progress. Even if you have found a path, if you're unsure what the next step down that path is, then it can be too easy to become demotivated and procrastinate. Where you are able, be as clear as you can on what your next step is. A great example of this forward thinking is Ernest Hemingway's approach to writing. At the end of each day, he would finish halfway through a sentence. So he had total clarity on what his next step the next day would be. It's so easy to procrastinate if you haven't set up the next step for your progress. Once you've worked this out and taken your next step, then your motivation will really start kicking in. What if you can't see your own progress and you're unsure that your actions are working? Well, motivation will come when you develop your own internal reference point. Stop comparing your progress with others and start to measure your progress backwards. If you're making progress every day, then you're better than who you were yesterday. Even if things didn't work out quite as planned yesterday, your actions mean that you are still further along the path than where you were yesterday. You can learn a lesson from yesterday and always be further along than your former self. I hope you have a motivated week. Section 2. Mindsets to apply to make extreme progress on your British accent in just 30 days. So here are 3 mindsets you can apply to help you make progress towards your goals in the next 30 days and beyond. Mindset 1. Clarify your future self and make power moves towards your future self. Okay, so what does this mean? Get really clear on what you'd like to achieve and start to connect with this future self. Then begin to make power moves towards this self. Now, the definition of a power move is any intentional, bold, courageous act toward your future self. Now, don't start to feel intimidated and overwhelmed by this. A power move can be simply to read a book. If you want to learn a new skill, reading a book on the subject area can be an ideal first power move step. Power moves are investments in yourself, and gaining knowledge through reading is a fantastic move. Power moves don't need to be major financial investments either. Depending on your goals, power moves could also include joining a group or class, or perhaps hiring someone. This could be to either free up your own time to develop your own skills, or hiring someone as a mentor or a more collaborative role to reach your goals quicker. Power moves like these take courage and commitment. Commitment to whom you envisage your bigger future self to be, and courage to take the necessary steps to get there. Power moves can also include removing things from your current life and situation that could be holding you back. For example, you may feel you need to end a relationship that's not supporting your future self, or perhaps leave a group that doesn't fit in with where you actually want to be going. Mindset 2. Measure your gains backwards. No one else has the same future as you. No one has the same goals as you, and no one has the same starting point as you. As you take your power moves towards your goals, periodically you need to look back and list specifically what's happened and measure your gains backwards. Rather than measuring yourself against where you ideally want to be, you measure yourself backwards and see how far you've come from where you started. It's always a good idea to write down these gains at the end of each day, as it's so easy to forget all the smaller moves you made that can build on your progress. Remember that gains can also be failures. If you've got something wrong that day, use these experiences as lessons learned and gains made. Any challenges, mistakes, or obstacles can be transformed into a gain, moving you closer to your future self. At the end of each month, you can look back and see all the progress you've made and measure your current self against your former self. Mindset 3. Walk away from competition. The aim is to free yourself from the negative and scarcity mindset of competing. The only competition is between yourself. Once you stop worrying about competing with others, you start having a lot more freedom and confidence. You're no longer worried about what other people are doing. Instead, you're just concerned about your own bigger future. If you're able to integrate these 3 mindsets into your next 30 days, you should see some massive progress towards your goals. So what's your next power move going to be? Section 3. Courage is uncomfortable. Some thoughts on courage, courtesy of Dr. Benjamin Hardy. If you've decided to commit to a particular goal, you're committing to something that's more and better than you currently are and have. This requires a huge dollop of courage. Because you're committing to an outcome or a situation that's above and beyond your current capability and confidence, this forces you into a state of courageousness. Courage is going outside your current knowledge, skills, and abilities, and ultimately going outside of your current comfort zone. You can know how committed you are to something based on the amount of courage you are exercising. As Dan Sullivan says, courage doesn't feel good. In psychology, courage is the intentional pursuit of a worthwhile goal that involves some form of risk. Courage can be risky, as it might not work out. You could fail. But as you go through this process of courage, of learning and failing, you begin to develop capability. Consider each action you take towards your goal as a vote for the kind of person you want to become, and each action takes courage. Over time, through exercising courage and going outside your comfort zone, you develop the capabilities of your future self. So what will take courage today? Section 4. 80% gets you results with your British accent. If you're stopping yourself from using your British accent in public because it's just not 100% perfect, then you're never actually going to get anything done. You'll make zero progress. But if you learn to get comfortable putting yourself out there when you're still at that 80%, then you're going to get results. 80% is good enough. I know it's not perfection and you're still going to make pronunciation errors, but at 80%, you should have enough confidence in your speaking voice to test it. And the idea behind testing your accent is that your audience will give you feedback. You'll receive from them insights you may never have gotten if you held yourself back until you thought you were perfect. These insights can help you make improvements and progress so much faster than if you were your only audience and critic. Get your accent out there and start moving forward. And that's ultimately what you want from your British accent. You want a better speaking voice and better communication skills so you can move your life forward, whether that's professionally, romantically or socially. Enjoy and have a fabulous weekend. Thanks ever so much for listening. Don't forget to join the British Accent Bundle before the price goes back up. Go to learningbritishaccent.com/bundle and I will see you next time. Bye for now.